Hello all, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. So, today, we are going to be, we had the sort of live stream. I did my live reaction for that. I figured we'd also do a little breakdown to check out, they got the banner unit tweeted out, and they also, tweeted out the links and stuff. And, just to give my overall final thoughts on the units before we see them in-game. So let's just jump right in. This is, you know, I said the kits could excite me, and well, you guys will see here in a moment if you haven't already. BROLY is looking pretty good. So he's a 200% to movie bosses, which is well, I already did see a little bit ahead here. He does not have big bad bosses, so that could be somewhat problematic. However, it is worth noting, we're gonna get Tech BROLY EZA later on this campaign, probably part 3. That's where they EZA'd Rose last year, so I feel like maybe they're just saving the LR EZA for then. But we already have announced, we haven't seen his details yet, but the Int Legendary Super Saiyan TOR Broly from Saiyan Day, I think 2021. His EZA was already announced, so this will hit him, this will hit like Cell Max, so etc. Like it's going to be a really good leader skill, even if there could potentially be some synergy issues. But yeah, he has that. And then he works sort of like Sleepy Beerus. So, unable to attack his first turn, and he just. And then he also sort of has like AGL Goku Saiyan of guard plus 90% damage reduction, but that's only this first turn. Also, this buff right here is also only the first turn. So you either get 90% damage reduction as the first attacker or 70% damage reduction and crit support. So I mean, that's only just like the first turn sort of thing to set up your rotations and whatnot. Really good to have. And you can also transform him immediately. So we haven't actually seen this, I don't think, since Final Form Frieza. He is a Dokkan Fest from once again, like 2021, I think, actually. He's from Tournament Power. He starts off as Final Form, but you can transform him to Golden anytime you want. He's on quite a bit of categories. Just typical normal Broly links. And then here we go. Uh, here he his transform key 3 attack and defense plus 260%. Then he just permanently has 50% damage reduction, and for the first 3 turns he gets an additional 26%. So we're already at 76% damage reduction for the first 3 turns, and after that 50%. So his first 3 turns are just God turns. He can't die. And that'll be proven even more so later on. He gets additional 150% when performing a super attack. He's getting up to 5 key and 50% crit per attack performed. He's launching an additional attack that has a high chance to become a super attack with the same turn of receiving an attack. And as the first attacker in a turn, he's getting 200% defense before attacking, and he's guarding all attacks. Mind that also with the 260% started turn and the 50% throughout the whole way, and the additional 26%. So his first 3 turns, he's going to have 460% defense start of turn before attacking, and he's going to have, and after attacking, that'll be 260, but a start of turn only, but you get the 150 multiplicative when performing super, as well as the actual super attack effects themselves. But he also is guard, right? The guard and damage reduction combo is just so fucking broken. You could also, put him in slot 2 or 3 for the additional super, but I'm just gonna. I mean, I don't really care too much for Z Broly myself as a character, but this really feels this is like thematically what every Broly should have been. Extremely good tank, extremely good damage dealer. We've just had extremely good damage dealers before. Int Broly, the one I mentioned that's Easy Yang, is actually probably the closest we've ever had. Which, speaking of him, I'm glad I decided to do his sort of attack video when I did last Friday. Because I said then I wanted to do it as a sort of before and after. So hopefully he EZAs just relatively shortly here, and then we'll be able to immediately jump in with that this week, or maybe we'll have to do it next week or something. We'll see. But that should be pretty exciting. Get a little off topic. That can come later on. But he also gets 3 key and chance of performing crit plus 50% when there's a Pure Saiyan or Earth Bred category enemy. And he disables attack enemy action once within a turn when he keys 24. So he's going to be guaranteed critting Pure Saiyans or Earth Bred fighters essentially. Uh, he looked godly, right? Uh, and this is so 26%. I know that doesn't look like a lot, but that's actually insanely huge. Genuinely, I don't, the way they buff is it's all in different phases. I don't understand it entirely, but it's like their start of turn as a separate phase. You know, when you're performing an action, like when you receive a hit or when you do a super attack, something like that, that's a separate phase buff. Uh, when it's active skill, that's a separate phase. Domain, that's a like there's a bunch of different separate phases, and that even though it's something like 26% doesn't look like a lot, it actually is massive. Not to mention, he is permanently stacking attack on his 18 keys. So if I pull him, expect one of the how hard unit sort of hit videos for him as well. That should be pretty exciting. So yeah, there's. I mean, it's also an AO. Oh, wait, actually, it's an AOE. Ooh. Hmm. We're not gonna be able. We actually might not be able to do it then, huh? Because this guy's tech, and he's just gonna absolutely eat that rosé. I'll try and figure something out. Maybe we could try out some of the other events or something. I wonder if there's a way we could get it to. I'll have to try and figure something out because I would like to do one for them, but that is an AOE to be fair. Something to keep in mind. But that is really good that you can just transform and have an AOE immediately. That is very valuable because they do put a lot of AOE's on these units, and it just doesn't make sense all the time, right? It's like why does a unit that's only coming up on like turn 5, turn 6 or something have an AOE? It doesn't really help usually. But you can have this guy turn 1, so it's actually very good. So I'm really excited for BROLY. But that's BROLY. We're gonna move on to I believe we have we have these guys next. The Goku, Gohan, and Trunks unit. So they're leading All Out Struggle, Super Saiyan's Power of Wishes. Seems like a pretty good team. I don't think we need another Super Saiyan lead just yet. But hey, a lot of good units, so it is what it is. They also give an additional 30% to movie heroes or connected hope. Now they got a bit of a long passive. 3 key, 200% attack and defense start a turn. They're changing random type of key spheres to Fizz key spheres to start a turn as well. They're getting 2 key, an addition per key Fizz key sphere, as well in addition additional key +1 per other type key sphere obtained. Fizz excluded, obviously there. All allies are getting 3 key and 50% attack besides themselves. Uh, they only get this when receiving a super attack, but 30% damage reduction. And they also get 30% defense when receiving an attack for every 3 key. So that goes up to, so it's every 3 key, you can get up to 24 key. So, 8 times, you get up to 240% defense when receiving an attack. I actually, that might be, I think that would actually be multiplicative, right? A 240% multiplicative defensive buff, that could actually be insanely good. That there's someone I want. Broly is like I'm just seeing him like okay, he's God. This is a unit I actually do want to see in game first, specifically for this phase of the character. But I think they'll be really good. They also get an additional 150% attack when he is 12 or more. They launch 2 additional attacks, each of which has a high chance of becoming a super attack when he is 18 or more, and they get super effective against all types when he is 24. Now, here's a big thing for them. You really need this active. If there's another movie hero or all-out struggle category ally attacking in the same turn, plus an additional damage reduction of 15%, which is against everything, I'm pretty sure. And for 2 turns, all allies defense 77%. That is a really good buff. No doubt about it. we gotta talk about that restriction though, right? Like they did this with Super Saiyan 3 Goku as well. They did this with Rose. Dokkan Fest should not be really limited, especially a Dokkan Fest LR. Uh, I don't I don't know why you're limiting a Dokkan Fest LR like this. It's pretty silly, especially because it's in the same turn. I'd at least understand if it was like, you know, if there's like two or more on the team or something, but it has to be on the same turn. So that's I don't know, and it's a massive buff too. And like if you're running them as a friend lead, right, you can stack this up twice. So for you can constantly have 154% defense to all allies. Uh, do I need to tell you guys that's pretty good? So the restriction is pretty damning, potentially. But unless like if you try to you have to run their team essentially. You can't like just throw them around in any random team because then you're potentially even on their own team you might potentially struggle for this because it is Power of Wishes and Super Saiyans as well, and it only has All Out Struggle for here and the 30% category of movie heroes. So this could be problematic to activate at times. But it's really good. So I mean, you have to try and aim for it. And it would also make up for maybe some weaker units in the all-out struggle category, simply because, once again, 154% defense, kind of a lot. Uh, we'll see how this character works in game. They pretty much have 15% damage reduction as their only mechanic. Defensive, they get the 30% when receiving a super, but I guess so they're up to 45% technically, but I mean, we'll see. They don't have guard, and there's a lot of strength enemies. They're physical, so that could be potentially an issue. But I think they'll be good, especially if you throw like raw defensive orbs on them. They will eat a lot of that, I think. Okay. Then we have their sort of standby condition. Actually, where's their super attack? Okay. Uh, this is actually really good. Is it not going to show it? Will it show it on this one? Okay, yeah, it does. I'll go over that in a moment then. So their standby is they finally, wisened up. Uh, Activated when HP is 77% or less, or starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. Notice that this is start of battle. What they've been really dicking us around with recently is they've been start of turn, which that means, if your unit appears on the 2nd turn, you wouldn't be able to activate it on the 5th turn. You'd have to wait till the 6th turn, and etc. It's really dumb. But this will just literally be 5th turn from the start of battle, which is really good. So they stand by for 3 turns, and their charge count is increased by 3 with each attack received. And they get an additional 2 per Fizz Key Sphere obtained by allies, and 1 per non-Fizz Key Sphere by allies. Okay. Then they're raising attack for 1 turn, causes colossal damage enemy, lowers attack and defense. Nothing really major there. Their big thing is this. This is an insane buff. Greatly raised attack and defense for 30%. For 3 turns, and cause mega colossal damage to enemy. And they also raise superclass allies' attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn. So they're giving allies. So you throw them in slot 1, right? Just put them in slot 1. They're giving all allies a 50% attack buff and 3 key besides themselves. Then they're also giving a 30% attack raise buff on super attack, which is like a different phase, so it's stronger. And then they're also giving 77% defense to allies and the 30% defense as well. This is only 1 turn, mind you, but this is insane. They should be able, like if they are really really good, which it looks like they will be. If you can just throw them literally in front of any attack in the game, like Cell Max, right? He's extreme strength, which would be like the worst case scenario for him. You throw them in front of Cell Max, if they can tank that, if that's how powerful they are, just defensively, you can literally like throw any all-out struggle unit, and you should be pretty good, even if they're kind of like bad, because they're just gonna be well. I don't know if they're kind of like bad, but even if it's like a unit that's like not maybe even top tier, just like sort of mid, you could get away with running them. simply because they're just going to get so much support. It's going to be insane. But yeah, so then you go into their standby. Can't attack unless the finish is activated. 259% attack and defense. Start turn and guard all attacks. Changing int key spheres to Fizz key spheres. Plus an additional key plus 2 per Fizz key sphere obtained. 1 key per non Fizz key sphere obtained. Plus an additional, they got the same mechanic of 30% defense when receiving an attack for every 3 key. And if key is 24 when receiving an attack, reduce damage received by 59%. Pretty insane. So this guy, he's going to tank everything as long as you're at 24 key, which shouldn't be an issue considering all the key they're getting from everywhere. Plus an additional defense plus 20% per key sphere obtained, and all allies defense plus 7% per physical key sphere obtained, and then plus an additional 100% attack when finish effect is activated. So this should be pretty insane. I will say I actually took a quick, brief glance at the banner unit, and they will be able to pair really good with the LR. Although, to be fair, obviously you're only going to have one of the banner unit, while you're going to have your lead and the friend lead potentially, so you're not going to be able to juice up both, but you'll be able to heavily juice up one of these guys, and it's just going to be insane. So the finish is, obviously do a lot more damage if you get over 41 counts, which should be pretty easy to do. Although it does only last 3 turns, so you got to keep that in mind. All right. Yep, that's just that. Here we have these guys. So this is actually an interesting design. I don't like how they're super physical because, the Dokkan Fest is super physical, but it is what it is. This is their kit. Key 3, 200% attack and defense start a turn, medium chance of an enemy attack. Then they're getting an additional 150% attack and defense when attacking. Superclass allies are getting 30% attack and defense, plus additional 2 key and 30% attack and defense for characters who are also in All Out Struggle or movie heroes. Then they're just seeing, they have the scatter effect, so they can see where enemies are going to super for the first 2 turns. And they also have an additional 30% chance to dodge for the first 4 turns. So, pretty good. And recovering 30% HP at end of turn. Any exchanges with Vegeta when the condition is met. He has greatly raised attack and defense for 1 turn as a super. Just normal like Piccolo links. And he's lowering attack and defense. So it's just exchange with Super Saiyan Vegeta starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. Should happen like automatically. So here's Vegeta. He has, for the first turn, 300% attack and performs a critical hit for 1 turn from the character's entry turn. He's getting 3 key, 200% attack and defense. He's reducing damage received by 50%. He's getting an additional 150% attack and defense when attacking. He's launching an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super. And then he's also, this is what I was saying earlier, he's changing strength, AGL, and tech key spheres, physical key spheres at once only. Now, mind you, right, if we go back over here, if you noticed earlier, this unit changes int key spheres to physical key spheres. So, and you can do this on turn 5, right? You got this guy linked with the banner unit. Here's what you do. Turn 5 happens. So you're going to immediately change int, strength, AGL, and tech to physical key spheres. So you're going to essentially change the entire orb field into physical. Except for like rainbow orbs, but still. It's just going to juice the hell out of the like sort of finish. Like it's going to be literally insane. And this unit should be able to hold his own. So he's actually really, really good to have. So yeah, there's that. Just typical sort of Vegeta links. And there's his Super Tech effect. He gets the medium chance of performing a crit for 1 turn that should stack. So if you're getting multiple supers, it'll be like a 30% crit for the turn. If you get like a second super, it'll go up to like 60% for the turn. And I think you can get up to 3 supers total, which means you can get up to a 90% chance on that 3rd attack. Yeah, that would be a hidden potential though. So yeah, there we have it. This seems really good. The banner unit seems extremely good for the Dokkan Fest. I'm personally the most excited for BROLY, but they all look really good. Um, Excited to see them. They should drop tonight, I think. But yeah, uh, pretty exciting times are heading into, just constantly. And now we're finally actually synced as well. So I will note real quick, uh, Global's banner has the Super Saiyan Trio Carnival LR instead of Gammas. People are probably gonna make a big deal about that. And we are synced, so I sort of get it. But we literally just have the Gammas, like not even a month ago, right? Or just a bit over a month ago. So like, I get it. Like we're synced, like it should be the same, but like at the same time, you know, right? It's not. It's understandable. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of the units down below. I think they're all really good. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.